times free cash flow for a company that's growing in high teens, very dominant position. We think, Dara and the CFO and the team there are finding extra pennies and nickels in every single, trip that they take. But let's be clear. I think when I came on earlier in the year, the stock had run up a lot. The price was higher. We took down our position size. We added to Tesla. So, I've done a podcast on FSD 12 and our excitement there. So we pay very close attention to this. And all I would say to Weiss is, 100% with certainty, the reason this stock is under pressure is because of the fears of Elon and Robotaxi.
So speaking of fears of Elon, you mentioned adding to your position.
We're going to have to disagree there, Brad. We're going to have to disagree. If you look at where the stock gapped down, it was on the earnings. So it was trending down before, granted, but the big gap down and the lack of recovery came after the earnings.
We're good. We can disagree. We can disagree.
Hey, guys.
Go ahead, Josh.
I just would point out, if you can find me another stock anywhere in the NASDAQ 100, anywhere in the S&P 500 for that matter, selling at 33 times forward earnings with 140% earnings growth expected next year, tell me what it is. I'll blindfold myself and buy it. I don't care if it's GameStop, okay? This is a very unique situation. 30% gross margins, but only 5% operating margins. If you're buying it today, the bet you're making is that 5% can go higher. And if it does, the stock is way too cheap. I understand 33 forward PE is not what we typically associate with being a cheap stock. In addition, the moat, the dominance. I understand Waymo is coming on. I understand Elon Musk is going to tweet something. It doesn't matter. The capacity of the riders is all sitting on the Uber app. So if you're launching a Robotaxi service, that's terrific. That's more rides that Uber's users can take. It'll be plugged right into the app if they're smart.
Josh, when do you think Robotaxis are a reality? Josh, when do you think Robotaxis
I don't need them to
are
be
a reality?
I don't know. I'm not a technologist, but I don't need them to be a reality. I don't need them to be a reality.
Right.
My point is this: the highest expense at Uber, by far, is the driver take rate. And driver take rates actually have gone up in recent years, and that's how they vanquish Lyft. They have more drivers, and that's why the consumer keeps choosing Uber, and that's why they've gotten to the market share that they're at. If we do get a technological innovation inside of this decade that makes it so more of the driving is being done by computers, that's just going to hit Uber's bottom line, no matter which way you slice it. So I'm not saying it's a bad sale you're making, Weiss. The difference between trading and investing is
money on it. I
don't expect I'm glad you did. And I don't think you and I disagree. I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
In my second year in business, we lost money 3 out of 4 quarters. Hopefully, none of my partners wanted to sell. It doesn't work this way in the real world. You own a company, not every quarter is going to be your most profitable quarter ever. It's just not real life.
Josh, what is real life is portfolio management.
Steve.
I can't own them all, and I can't own based on 140% growth on a quarter that was down. It's expensive. To me, in my world, 20 times free cash flow is not cheap. It's just not.
All right, we're going to move. I want to talk about more on Tesla. You alluded to the fact, or you said as much, that you added to your shares. We know that. How'd you vote for the pay package, which is coming to a resolution shortly?
Yeah, Scott, I've been very clear about this publicly. I think the fact that we're even having a vote is outlandish, right? I think this judge's decision here is a threat to free enterprise. I think it's a threat to capitalism. I think it's ridiculous. Tesla shareholders want Elon to get paid for the incredible work that he's done at Tesla. And to have, Monday morning quarterback this stuff, to use courts rather than shareholders in order to undo a pay package, I think is ridiculous. We voted in favor of the pay package, clearly. Listen, if you're a Tesla shareholder and you don't like the fact that the stock has appreciated by multiples over the last few years, sell your shares and go elsewhere. But the idea that we're going to undo this in the courts, I find aghast, and I think it's a real threat to business in America.
What's interesting is that it's not just interested shareholders in Tesla who are weighing in. Nelson Peltz reached out to me a short time ago. He's made it clear of how he feels about Elon Musk and the friendship that they have apparently developed. Nelson Peltz told, and by the way, he has no position in the stock. Tryon nor Nelson, they have no position in the name. They're just innocent, interested bystanders. He says the following: Elon Musk is a true visionary and exemplifies capitalism at its best. In 2018, 73% of Tesla's disinterested shareholders approved a 100% risk-based compensation package for Elon that is wholly tied to company performance and long-term shareholder value creation, no base salary, no annual bonus, and no time-based equity grants. This is exactly what investors in any company should want. I'll skip ahead a bit to the end. To renege on this plan now defies logic and I believe would be a grave mistake. Your reaction to Peltz?
I mean, listen. Nelson believes in America. He believes in business. He believes in free enterprise. He believes in the rule of law and contract like I do. So anybody who cares about these things should be on the side of Elon getting paid. It's a lot of money. But when he took this pay package, nobody else I know in business would have accepted an all-performance pay package for a company that CNBC was reporting was on the verge of bankruptcy. So pay the man his due. He works his butt off. He's the most innovative CEO we have in America. And I think it's not, I think it's a shame. I think it's a travesty we're even having this discussion.
Weiss?
Yeah, look, I mean, I've got no view on the pay package. If people want to own the stock, I just think it's interesting that Mark Zuckerberg can get called out for overspending and poor governance on the spending, yet somebody who practices poor governance, who has a board in his back pocket, you know, it's okay to own that stock. So I don't think you can own Tesla if you're focused on corporate governance. You know, clearly you can't own it, but he is one of the best innovators and one of the smartest people that enterprise business has ever seen. So if you don't like the pay package, Brad's right, sell the stock. But, you know, I just think there's an issue for every CEO. I don't think it's anti-American. There's a rule of law. I've been in front of that very judge that turned away his pay package on another matter in the Delaware courts. And it's not political. It's not, she doesn't want to see people make money. It was the rule of law. She didn't say you could never do it. She just said do it the right way. So it's not disgraceful. That's what America's about. Now, I know we have a narrative that says the courts are all rigged, but that's not the case here. So, look, I have no view on Tesla. I wouldn't own it, you know, but, you know, people do and they made money on it.
I mean, I think it's well documented, the conflict the judge had here. All I'll tell you is there's not a lot of confidence in this. I don't believe it's the rule of law. I think this was, a real art of gymnastics, frankly, to come up with this ruling. And I think this was something that shareholders didn't want. If you don't want to be a part of it, sell the stock. We totally disagree with your opinion, and I'm totally in the camp of Nelson Peltz on this.
All right, we'll see what happens when the final votes
Nelson
are tallied.
Peltz is invested here. He's got a friendship, as you said, Scott, with Nelson. Well,
he might be invested
Musk.
in a friendship. He's not invested in the stock.
So let's not make it. Let's not make it that he's not biased because he doesn't own the stock. He's biased. He's got a close friendship. Period. That's a bias.
He obviously has an He obviously has an opinion, or he wouldn't have sent it to me. But he's not a shareholder, so he has no vote.
Bias. Just because he doesn't own the stock doesn't mean he's not biased.
He made his points very clear. You could disagree with him. I'm just putting it out there as.
I'm not disagreeing with him. I'm disagreeing with you that he's not biased.
I didn't say he wasn't biased. He's obviously invested in a friendship with Elon Musk. So if that makes him biased, then he's biased. But he didn't have to put any statement out. I'm just telling you he reached out and sent me a statement that he's in favor of the pay package. Take it for what it is.
The day we stop paying CEOs in this country who create trillions of dollars in value for a pay package that was agreed on at that point in time, right? It's a bad day for America. We are the most competitive country in the world because we honor these things. And so we're just going to have to disagree on that and move on.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Speaking
no
of moving
argument.
on.
I sent a number of boards, and I love incentivizing our CEOs.
We are going to move on. As I said, we're going to come up and we're going to answer the question, is software dead? Brad has a lot of thoughts on that. A lot of stocks in that space, including some that he owns, have underperformed recently. You know the ones. We'll discuss next.